Welcome to our podcast. And by that, I mean on Wednesdays we read. I'm Hannah.
I'm Laura.
And we are two best friends who are doing a deep dive into a new book series, one book at a time. Right now, we are shiting on the Wheel of Time, and we are discussing Robert Jordan's sixth book in his series, The Lord of Chaos.
The Lord of Chaos.
But before that, Laura, what are you reading, watching, and or enjoying?
So I just listened to Busy Phillips' book, This Will Only Hurt a Little, and I really liked it. You know, it was a fun book, and I think she should actually narrate more audiobooks because she's just very good at reading these things. I don't know, her impression of her mother was amazing, and I also just loved how dramatic she made certain things, and she is also self-describing as dramatic, but just it was a really authentic book, and you know, you follow her through different points in her life, and she's just very real, and I just really appreciated like how fun and how genuine she was throughout.
That's fun. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You're like our celebrity memoir person. I feel like you listen to so many.
I mean, I really like to listen to them, and it's more fun to listen to them, I think, because you get the author most of the time that reads it. So it's kind of fun to have that versus like me reading it. I think it wouldn't have been as much fun, but I really liked it. And sometimes celebrity memoirs kind of fall flat because they're a little bit boring, and it's like, okay, well, I didn't really care about that incident that happened to you in your school lunchroom or whatever. But sometimes people are very good at picking which stories they want to include, and I think Busy was pretty good at that.
That's good. Well, and she's been around since Freaks and Geeks, so I feel like she has enough to like fill it with. So that's good.
And you know, it was one of those things where she just really talked a lot about how much she loves to act and how excited she would get when she would get jobs, and you know, you could just tell that she really has a passion for acting, and that she just really likes what she does, and she's excited about it. And I think I admire that about people when they're excited about something that they do.
That's good. Are you watching anything new?
I have been watching Parks and Rec again. I mean, this is my favorite show.
Baba Booey. I recently saw a TikTok that was like, show the perfect minute of television, and it was the snake juice scene where they're all drunk.
That's the perfect minute of television. I don't know. I think one of my favorites from that whole show is when Andy types in Leslie's symptoms into Google, and it says she has network connectivity problems.
That was a Chris Pratt like line. He just made it up on the fly.
He made it up. I think that's great.
It made the writer of the show so angry.
Yeah, Michael Schur was furious.
He's like, to have someone just say it off the cuff like that is enraging.
Yeah, I thought it was so good.
That is an amazing moment. I cannot tell people how much I love the season 2 opener where Leslie sings Parents Just Don't Understand.
Not interrupt her to tell her that someone is on fire.
It's so funny to me. I laugh every single time where Rod's like, so here's the situation. It's just like, your parents went away on a week's vacation. And she finishes and everyone applauds. And she's like, it's just something I learned. So what's up? And Rod, someone is on fire
Someone is on fire in Ramsey Park, and you need to get down there right away.
Oh my God. I watch that opener sometimes to make me feel better. It is so funny. And like the fact that it's season 2 opener and like it shows the flip in the show's direction is very amazing to me. But
I sometimes like kind of wonder how the show would have been if they would have kept Mark Brandamowicz in it. But I really love season 3 when they bring in Ben.
I do think it gets better because Mark is a very boring character overall.
Yes. But I do think it would have been an interesting dynamic to keep in another person like that and
straight
to see
man.
how it went. Yeah.
I get that.
But overall, I love Ben a lot. So
Ben is so funny.
Yes.
The calzones betrayed me.
Jerry is my friend.
He gets up to stand on the table.
Jerry sometimes.
I love
they are awful to him, but at the same time, he is great. That Jim O'Hare, I think, is his name, and he is amazing.
I like that he's the one who's least like his character, and they all felt bad about how mean they were to him.
Yeah. So they had to make him like amazing at piano and give him this wonderful life where he was married to a model and had model children.
Oh God, that's so funny.
Amazing.
I think we've already talked about this, but the Christmas episode where he's like, "So Jerry's wife," and Chris is like, "I've thought about it. I have no idea."
I can't understand it.
It's so good.
Our favorite place to go is Muncie.
They have a condo there.
I always have a second scoop ready for Jerry. I know he drops the first one.
I love it when like Ben gets on the table to admit he's Jerry's friend, and Jerry's just like, "No, Ben, you can't do that to yourself.
Don't do it."
Yeah.
I think on rewatches though, the only character that I don't enjoy as much is Tom, and really he gets worse as you go along. Because I think he starts off less annoying towards the beginning of the series and gets more annoying as you keep going through the series.
I don't mind Tom, but I get it. He's like the character that doesn't live up well. Like it doesn't last well.
Yes.
Because like I feel the same way. I like was recently just put on New Girl again because I've been falling asleep to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, as more years pass, the beginning of Schmidt is not great.
No.
It's just not good.
No.
So yeah, I get it.
What have you been reading and watching?
So I went up to Wisconsin again this weekend to visit a friend, and on the way I just downloaded Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers, but I was on a wait list for it. So I also downloaded How We Fight for Our Lives by Saeed Jones. It's a memoir. And it's his memoir as a Black gay man growing up in Texas and his life in college and like kind of coming out in college and then coming out to his mom afterwards. And I was not expecting the mom. Spoilers for this book. It is his memoir, so I'm sure it is well known, but his mom dies at the end. And I don't know if anyone listens to this podcast, but Hannah recently lost her mom. So on the drive back from Wisconsin, I was literally sobbing in my car in traffic. And I was like, I look a little crazy, but it was a beautiful memoir. I highly recommend it. The way he talks about losing his mom is very similar to like listening to people talk around you and forgetting who you spoke to and what they said and like caring about the conversations and wanting to be alone in a room full of people who are trying to take care of you. And all that stuff was like hit the spot perfectly. And then he talks about like a trip he took to Europe, and he meets this woman who also just lost her mother, but she was like in her 60s, and they just traveled together for a while before they found out they had like they both lost their mom. And he just found this like kindred spirit in this woman. And he kept being like, I don't know why I'm traveling with her, but I just keep doing it. And it was very
weird,
lovely. And he's like a poet. So I highly recommend his memoir. I think it was well done. And it's talking about his Blackness. It's talking about the fact that he's gay, but he's still a person who makes mistakes. And I think that those memoirs are important too, because you can't it's about how you fight for your life of personhood. And I think that that's a lovely idea that people should think about more. Yeah. So I did that. And then I also read The Farm by Joanne Ramos. I would liken this to a very good episode of Black Mirror. I don't know if you've seen Black Mirror.
I have not.
Okay. Well, Black Mirror is all about like very trippy science fiction stuff. Like, what if you had a microchip in your head where you could view every single like moment of your life? And what does that mean like for your relationships, where you decide to like relive the best moments of your life, Or what if your social standing on social media was how you paid for things? It's like social currency. And what happens when you start being disliked, and it's about this girl who wants social clout by like trying to get like an influencer who she knew when she was younger to like her and get to her wedding.
Oh, jeez.
And it gets and all the episodes are very trippy. They're all a social commentary, and like Black Mirror is meant, everyone knows this, I'm sure, but I don't know if you know this. It's meant for like the black screen on your phone. It can become a mirror. And so that's what it was made for, but it's like a dark, distorted mirror. So anyway, The farm I would liken to an episode of Black Mirror where it is a bunch of women who decide to become surrogates for the rich and wealthy and live on this compound while they're pregnant so that people can monitor them, make sure that they're exercising, make sure that they're eating right, all this stuff.
Handmaid's Tale-esque.
Yes, but a little bit like more for the modern day.
Mm-hmm.
And but the women sign a contract. They only get like a bonus if, they like have the baby. And it like follows this Filipino woman who already has a child, but signs up for it to make sure that she can give her a good life. And like, there's like a woman who grew up rich, but like was kind of cut off for her dad there and their roommates. And it's very like social justice-y on her side versus like, and she wants to feel fulfilled. And what does the farm do to make sure she feels fulfilled, And I like, it has it has 3.5 stars on Goodreads. I feel like a lot of people are a little bit torn by it because they're like, oh, the characters aren't likable or they're not very interesting people. And
I
I'm
feel
like
that with that type of plot, that nobody's gonna be likable.
No one's likable. And like, it's not going deep. Like, that's why I'm like, it's a Black Mirror episode. Like, I wouldn't say that this is like a deep novel that's going into the intricacies of like surrogacy and why it's bad for you. It's all very on its face bad. But that's what I liked about it. Like, I was like, yeah, I get those critiques where it's not deep and these characters aren't likable. And isn't that the point of this book? I feel like people wanted it to be more than it was. And people were like, the suspense is bad. I'm like, the suspense is supposed to be, it's just gross all over. Like,
right.
It's not supposed to be this, like, in the end, you'll find out it was this woman's baby. It's all supposed to be just like a bad, like, gig because no one should have surrogacy farms. Like, we shouldn't treat women like cows, So I really liked it. I thought it was very good. And if anyone enjoys Black Mirror, definitely read this book because I think you'd like it. And for TV shows, I started The White Lotus, which is on HBO. It is like, it's a very beautifully cinematic television show. And it's about a resort in Hawaii and the cast of characters who have descended upon it for like a weekend or for a week. And we know at the beginning that someone is dead at the end of it, but we don't know who. So I've watched the first episode of it. I heard it picks up a little bit, but it's very cinematic and very much a Hannah show where I'm like, ooh, these characters are weird and different. And I don't know enough about them,
Sure.
So I'm enjoying that show, but like it's been getting praised on like all the podcasts for like how beautifully stunning it is and everything. So if you listen to podcasts, they're probably talking about it. And
do you take a lot of recommendations from podcasts for like shows and books and items in your life?
Because like I always say I have an addictive personality. And so if someone starts talking about something and it piques my interest, I become obsessed with trying to like find out why it piques my interest. So it's like if someone keeps talking about a book they love, I'm like, I kind of want to read it. Like now I want to know why you love it. And if someone's like, this is beautifully cinematic, I'm like, I want to know why. So I think I like have this yearning for knowledge that like I'm sure is normal, but feels different to me because I become so obsessed with things in my own organic way. But like I'm also the worst, and you know this. If you hand me a book and you're like, I think you'd like this, I'm like, of course. And then I won't read it for like months and months and months and months. So I'm very like, I don't know what it is. If I just feel like I need to be an individual who nobody gets, I don't think that's quite it, but probably a little bit of it. Where I'm just like, I want to find out for myself. I don't want someone to tell me what I'm going to enjoy. So I am the youngest child. That tracks.
I think with reading, though, it's one of those things like people have let me borrow books. And if it's not a book that I like asked to borrow, if they just like gave it to me to borrow, it doesn't make it to the top of my TBR.
Right. I get it.
It sits around on my shelf forever. So
I mean,
there's
same.
that.
I have so many books that people have given me that I just haven't read. But you've also told me to read books you hate. I'm like, why would I read a book you hate?
Because I want your take on it.
Yeah, but I'm probably going to hate it. Yeah. Overall, White Lotus, good show. Podcast that recommended it to me. Good job. You did your job. That's what podcasts are for, aren't
Good
they?
work.
Good work. Laura and I, we have lost so much from last night. We tried to record last night and there were thunderstorms in Illinois. So we lost our podcast 2 times.
The only thing that was working at my house, because I didn't have internet, but the only thing that was working was my weather radio basically and my alerts on my phone, because every so often, it was like almost every 15 minutes I was getting an alert, thunder or tornado warning in your area. I'm like, oh gosh.
Say that out loud. Can you turn it off?
You can turn it off, but I have it on because I have a very big fear of storms. So
that's fair.
Yeah, I like to know.
But we were talking about the Bechdel Cast last night and how obsessed we are with the Bechdel Cast. So just shout out to them and all of Jamie Loftus's podcasts, because she
Jamie
is
and Caitlin,
the queen of podcasts, in my opinion, and everyone should listen to them. The Act Cast is going on right now. The Lolita podcast is amazing, and her year in Mensa is darkly funny. So
yeah, I really just love them. I have been listening to them. I've been listening to the Bechdel Cast since 2016. And
you're also the one who got me onto it. And then I got our friend Veronica from Ronnie Reads regularly onto it. So like we've been slowly infiltrating other people to watch this podcast. When people ask me my favorite podcast on dating profiles, I'm always like, I wish I could sound cooler, but it's definitely the Bechdel Cast. I mean, it's hard to describe to
people that don't know about it, but it's very good, and I think everyone should listen to it.
They do a deep dive into a new movie, one movie at a time, from an intersectional feminist lens. That's exactly what that book, that show is. So.
Yeah, and you know what? It really makes you think about movies and TV differently. Like when you're watching something, you'll think, oh, I don't know, this isn't too good. There are 0 women in this, or there's 1 token woman in this, or they don't have any lines. Their whole story
they don't talk to each other
around a man.
I recently was walking by and I was listening to something, I forget, but I was like walking down my street and all I could think was that doesn't pass the Buscemi test.
The Loftus test. Baldest woman in charge.
Oh God, baldest woman in charge. Yeah. So
it works.
It does work, because usually, guys, the theory is in movies, the baldest woman who has the shortest hair is usually in charge, because short hair apparently equals power. So like the Suicide Squad, I watched it this weekend with friends. It was very enjoyable. The new one, not the old one. The old one was fine. I felt like it did something. I did
not enjoy the old one.
It wasn't good, but I think the thing was it was a video game. So we watched it like it was a video game, and I was like, oh yeah, it's just, this is how a video game would look. That's all I thought about it. But the new one is very funny and very enjoyable, and we watched it and it was great, and it definitely deserved its R rating. But in it, Amanda Waller is the baldest woman in charge, and she is in fact in charge throughout that entire movie. So it holds up, guys. You see these in media all the time. If you're watching a movie, ask who the baldest woman is. She will be in charge. But
also make sure that women have dialogue, that they say each other's names.
Yes. And hopefully diverse characters who also interact, and not just about their diversity, but about other things too.
Right.
Should we get into it?
Let's do it.
All right. Shall we discuss Rand?
Yeah.
In Lord of Chaos.
How did you feel about him in this book?
I still like him. I mean, I
do too. I mean, I don't know that my feelings on him have changed that much.
I hate all of his interactions with women. Like every interaction with a woman. Stop trying to protect women and not protect men. Like I hate when he's like, I just don't want women to die, but men sign up for it. It's like, take your toxic masculinity and take it somewhere else.
Right. And you know what? I didn't even pick up on that initially, because I thought, oh, that's kind of a nice trait, that he feels guilty that people are dying for him. And then you pointed it out to me in the episode that he only feels guilty about the women that are dying. And I was like, oh, well, that's bad.
It's only the women. It's not the men. And like, I just don't like that. I don't like that every man's personality boils down to like toxic chivalry of like, I can't kill a woman. Like, even if she's a danger to me and the entire world,
me, but I can't do anything.
It's like, that's not feminism, by the way. No. Like, feminism is not like, I can't hurt this woman because
this woman's coming at me with a sword and I can't do anything because I'm being nice. Like, no.
don't do that, guys. Like, just I guess equal
If someone's
opportunity
coming at you
murder.
with a sword, you can defend yourself.
Like, we are not saying there should be violence against women, but this is a
No.
fantasy novel where everyone is at war with one another, and a
Right.
lot of these women sign up for it. So, like, don't be Rand, guys. Don't be
Mhm.
Rand. So I think that that's my biggest issue with him, but that's also Robert Jordan's biggest issue because we come back
Right.
to this time and time again. Robert Jordan like thinks women should be equal, but not
Mhm.
really.
I mean, I think he had a good idea and didn't know how to put it into work,
Right.
into his work. And it shows. So
I agree. I definitely agree. So, but yeah, and I think like it's so funny to me that like again, Robert Jordan has so many miscommunications, and I do enjoy this
Mhm.
particular miscommunication where Rand just like Min's just teasing me by sitting on my lap constantly and like petting my face. It's like
I
I don't
hated
know how
that,
you treat
but
your friends, Laura, but that's not how I treat my friends. Like,
who treats their friends like that? That's weird.
who hits on men just to see them blush? Like, I don't understand.
And also, didn't Min say in the last book that she like didn't know how to flirt with men? Like, I'm
Oh yeah,
confused.
she really learned a lot from what's her name,
Leanne.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. It's so funny that like Robert Jordan, he's like, all the men's personality is going to be bad with women. It's going to be a
Check.
very specific character trait with all men, except sometimes Lan. And I guess Tom Maryland with the tugging of the beard. I don't know.
Not a
I
fan of that either.
mean, no one wants to see that beard tugged, guys. No, thank you. But yeah, like overall, I think Rand's just consistently good outside of
Mhm.
his relationships with women and
Mhm.
his toxic masculinity. Do we want to talk about like, do we think, I mean, I hope Robert Jordan is going to actually make his torture like real. Like, I hate in fantasy novels when someone's tortured in the next book, they're like, I'm just going to go torture someone else now. And it's like, let's not torture people. That's not a good idea. We shouldn't be doing this. Like,
Mhm.
I just don't like torture scenes, guys. I'm not a fan of it. And like, I just feel bad for Rand as a character. And I know it's silly to feel bad for someone in a fantasy novel, but
I think
torture always makes
we
me
feel bad
uncomfy.
for him throughout this book just
Yeah,
because so many awful things happen to him,
fair. So
and
many awful things do happen.
it's bad. And I hate how basically at the beginning of all of his chapters we learn about his connection to, is it Alana? Is that her name?
Yeah, it's Alana.
I hate how he can feel her at the beginning of every single one of his chapters. That makes me very uncomfortable. I hate the torture scene, and I don't think that Robert Jordan is going to be able to get him out of that well.
Right.
That's what you're getting at. But
Yeah,
I my thought is he will not be able to give you the growth that you want to see in him. I don't think that's going to happen.
yeah, I don't know. I'm very scared for him. You're right. Like, he was just violated in so many different ways in this
Mm-hmm.
book. It's uncomfy. Yeah, there's just such a violation. And I do think like I will say at least Harper Jordan, I mean, if there's anything to be taken out of this, it's like the reverberations of, again, trigger warnings, people, but like it's the reverberations of rape, how it sticks with you. You know, like you don't just
Yes.
walk away from it. You still feel like you can feel the person. It's just in
Mm-hmm.
this particular book that's literally happening. And
Yes.
that's very unfortunate and awful.
Yes.
And so Randa's violated a lot in this book. And I feel like that's unfortunately going to be happening a lot more because, as we know, he is the Dragon Reborn and people are
Mm-hmm.
going to be using him.
I think he's going to be a target from here on out, and he's going to be dealing with a lot of trauma.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think he'll trust the Aes Sedai anytime soon. Like, I just
No.
don't think that that's going to happen. So it's interesting and unfortunate overall. But
And it kind of doesn't help your whole feminist text if it's like women are bad, don't trust them.
yes, again, this is a book that has very complicated views on women. I think Robert Jordan thinks he's doing something a lot of the time.
I I don't think he's doing much, but
No, I don't
that's
think he's doing
just
much
me.
either. I agree. Do we want to move on? Who would you like to
Yeah,
talk to
let's talk
about
about
next?
Mazrim Taim.
Oh yeah, Mr. Suspicious if it were a person.
Mr. Dark Friend. Hello.
I don't think he's a dark friend, guys.
I think he's a dark friend.
I think he's someone who wanted to be in power and now has to be like beneath someone else who is a
Mhm.
child in his mind and doesn't and like I think Mazrim Taim is like very much so the person who wants to be in power and who will fight against the person who is in power instead of just assisting them like a good soldier.
And you know what? He has like a surprising amount of power himself.
Yes.
So I think it's hard for him to be like, really, I'm taking directions from this kid. I could have been the
Exactly.
Dragon Reborn. And I think that's interesting. And also, how is he able to come up with all of these channelers? Like, I thought it was really rare to have a male channeler, and yet he's able to find them like no problem, and creates this farm, and he's training all of them. I think all of that's interesting, and I just don't trust him.
I mean, I do not trust him either. I agree. Well, I don't trust him, but I don't trust him because of dark friends. But
I'm calling Dark Friend.
uh, I mean, you are allowed to do that, but you hear it here now. I bet you $1 he's not.
You'll owe me $1.
Okay, sounds good. I'll talk to you in 14 books or in, no, well, I guess
Not
8 more
14.
books. 8 more books. Did you know that Robert Jordan like had a recently published novel come out like this year or last year? Yeah.
A Wheel of Time book?
I don't know. I saw it last night while we were trying to record and I was like, that looks weird. But no, it was like I mean, obviously it was posthumously posthumous. Thank you. That's like a word I read all the time, but never actually say out loud. Posthumous.
Yeah, it's a weird word.
Words are weird, guys. Why are there so many Robert Jordan books? Robert Jordan.
He wrote a million like Conan the Barbarian books.
Yeah, The Warrior of Altea.
Hmm.
It's his. Apparently, it's Robert Jordan's never before seen first novel. Should we publish first novels if they published a bunch of other stuff?
You know what? I'm just gonna say Harper Lee's first novel should not have been published.
Exactly.
Go Set a Watchmen.
Go Set a Watchmen didn't need to be published, guys. That was a cash grab. Yes, I did.
I wasn't sure if you read it or not, but I was so excited for it because I thought, oh my gosh, it's gonna be good, but horrible. So
I mean, here's the thing, guys.
I think people should be allowed to have a first draft of something and not be super criticized for it. And
yeah,
a lot of times people don't intend to have things published and they're just a first draft, and that's fine. So let's not be all worried about publishing things that don't need to be published.
Exactly. Like there's no business in publishing Go Set a Watchman. It was her first draft and she was not like with it enough to allow it to be published. Second, although like I guess spoilers for Go Set a Watchman, like although Atticus was like raised up as this great person, is anyone shocked that he's like a federalist who believes in states' rights to an nth degree? No. So like people were like, oh my God, he's now racist. And I'm like, yeah, probably. Like Atticus was probably racist. Like it was the like 60s. It's set in the 60s. Like, guess what? I'm guessing he wasn't all good feelings and hero. Like it's just such a weird hill to die on where it's like, no, Atticus must have been the hero we all wanted, when it's like, or he just wasn't.
Right.
I just don't get feeling that strongly about that kind of character. Like, I don't know. He was probably racist in the first book. It's just not showing because that wasn't what Harper Lee was talking about. She was talking about him helping one Black man. That does not mean that you help all the Black community.
Exactly.
Sorry for going on that rant, but
no,
here we are.
I think it's warranted.
But yeah, he apparently published a book or never published this book. And then 12 years later, they're like, let's publish it so that his family can make more money. It's just like, I bet it's not great. But someone should read it and let us know. If you've read it, let us know. We're not reading it. No, we're reading 14 of his books. We've spent enough money and time on him.
Of these.
Yes. No, thank you. I'm sorry, but no, thank you. Robert Jordan.
We have to dedicate more time to Dune. So we can't. Can't
We're
spend
not
any more
doing
time
Dune.
on Robert Jordan.
We're not doing Dune. I refuse.
Dune is happening.
It's not.
It's shorter than Wheel of Time.
Is it?
There's not as many books. Pretty sure there's only like 8 of Dune.
There are 14 books in Dune.
Are there really? Oh wow, I was wrong.
Yeah. So
how many pages are each one?
Oh, well, here's the thing. They also said there's 6 books in Dune. So I feel like there's probably like offsets of the Dune books.
Because I'm pretty sure when I went to the library, I didn't remember there being 14 of them.
So there might be 6 in the original series, but then there are other offshoots.
Okay. So I'm going to say 6 because offshoots, I'm not counting.
I don't want to read these. I've already read one. It's fine. Okay. I didn't care for Dune.
Dune is good.
Yeah, there's like a prequel trilogy, a prelude prequel trilogy. The actual, like,
this is like Star Wars
book
where it's like,
yeah,
this is the prequel trilogy. Now we're doing a sequel trilogy.
I'm not ragging on people who like Dune. You should like the books you like. I did not care for Dune.
I think Dune gets so many shout outs in other media that it amazes me.
Well, because it was like the original sci-fi epic for people.
I suppose, but I don't know of many other books that get that many shout outs.
Yeah, I feel like Dune it's just like, again, I think we've said this before. It's just like low key the book that's used to say you like science fiction. Like people don't.
And what is the book that you see like people on TV reading if it's like they're a reader? It's got to be a classic. I'm thinking
it's usually a classic. For women, it's often Pride and Prejudice.
Okay, which is great. So
for men, it's usually like some kind of nonfiction book or like very upscale classic novel of like, what's the guy who? Oh, I read Kerouac. Like,
okay,
Hunter S. Thompson. If you're a Gilmore Girls ilk, that was when Dean was smart and actually read books and didn't like get dumbed down.
I do not like Dean.
Dean is the worst, but like season 1, Dean was just like a guy who like read boy books, and then season 2, it's like, what if he never had a brain cell in the first place?
I hate how people are like, oh, decide between Dean or who was Milo? Jess and Dean. It's like, Jess, obviously. Like, why would you pick Dean? Like,
okay, also like,
and I hate how he comes back and is married and all that. Like, no.
What if I'm just gonna throw this out here, guys?
What if Dean was not the worst?
What if we just normalize not ending up with one of the first boyfriends you ever had?
Exactly.
Like, let's not pick Jess or Dean. Let's say, hey, Rory, why don't you move on from these yuckies and find
this
a new
very
man.
rich man that you find at college? And I
not
didn't like
that
him
one
either.
Not that one either. I'm not saying she should have ended up with what's his face. I'm just saying overall, why end up with any of them? Like, no, thank you. Come on.
Yeah,
I know.
Anyways, Wheel of Time.
Yes, sorry.
So let's talk about Perrin is back.
Right.
I didn't particularly enjoy him in this book.
I mean,
he's my favorite character, but I think that it was just, he was there for plot purposes to bring him back.
I liked his battle at the end.
Yeah, that was fine.
Yeah,
I didn't enjoy the fighting with his in-laws situation.
Well, he barely fought with his in-laws. They just kind of abused him a little, and then they liked him at the end of it, much like his wife. That entire family
can handle her.
That entire family just abuses Perrin, and then at the end of it, they're like, "But I kind of like you," and it's like, that's not what that is. Don't do that.
Family works. No. Any other thoughts on Perrin? Or we don't see a ton of growth or anything with him. So
no, but like I don't know. I do like that Robert Jordan, like I think the way Robert Jordan builds the plot makes sense. And I think he does it well. Where like Perrin in the
suddenly the father-in-law is Rand's key advisor, and we didn't know about this before. Like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay. but he was in the last book you mentioned. We just forgot about him.
Extremely briefly.
Yes, but we did just forget about him. So that is on that. But no, I'm talking more about like, okay, so yes, it is very strange that all of a sudden he's like Rand's right-hand man, and we saw that happen off screen. But like, he is there to interact with parents. That's a good setup. And like Perrin in 2 books ago, he had to lead armies, he had to lead battles, he had to learn how to do that with like green soldiers. So in this book, he is much more confident to like go charging after Rand and like ride into battle and like know he might die, but he understands that a lot more. And he's not like him versus book 1 Perrin, who's just running away from the fact that he's yellow eyes. It's interesting to watch someone grow as a character the way Robert Jordan has them grow, because like, I don't know, it's just one of those things where he does it really well.
He's like secretly accepting who he is.
Yes. And that's the same with Rand. It's never said out loud, like, I finally accepted who I am, which I think a weaker book would do. But with these books, because he has 14 books to play with, we're watching the growth ourselves. So I do like that we're getting that from Perrin, where we're watching him grow and we're watching him be like, I hate how Robert Jordan often has characters not understand where the other person's coming from. Like they're like, most characters' entire like pushback is just anger. So it's like, Perrin knows you have to use people from time to time. He used people in the town to fight Trollocs, and those people died. But because he feels he was just, it's okay. But then when Rand has to do it in a much more cutthroat way, because Rand is dealing with armies upon armies upon armies and trying to figure out how to work in the entire world and stop civil war and stop famine, all of a sudden Perrin's like, you've gone too far. You're using people. And it's like, yeah, my guy, so are you.
Right.
Do not get, okay, that's fine, I guess. That's your prerogative. But I don't like that part of him, just because, not great.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about Matt?
Yeah.
I mean, I like Matt.
I still like Matt too. I don't know that my feelings have changed on any of the male characters thus far in this book. I think the only one that maybe my feelings changed on a little was just Rand, and it was just because I didn't like his interactions with women, but that was kind of already happening. So,
right. What do you think about Matt's interaction with women?
Oh, I hate them, but I always did. I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
When do you think he's gonna find his true love?
Book 8 or 9.
Book 8. Okay.
8 or 9. Because the next book isn't that long.
Deal with a lot of him still going around and asking all sorts of women. Does Daughter of the Nine Moons mean anything to you?
And it definitely did to that one guy.
Yeah.
But then he was like, it doesn't mean anything. Yeah.
Wait, what? Oh, yeah, I never heard of that before.
Overall, Matt's a stand-up guy. I feel like he's coming into his own. Again, I do find it funny that Rand was like, you need to travel across the world to get to this one location. But Perrin, if you want to go, open a portal.
I don't understand his treatment of Matt sometimes versus Perrin. Perrin gets a little bit better treatment, and that may just be because Robert Jordan prefers Perrin.
I actually think Robert Jordan prefers Matt.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because I think he has more fun with Matt. Like, I think sometimes the character you bag on, as someone who writes books, the character you like kind of bag on a little bit might be the person you have a soft spot for, where you're just like, I know they can handle this and I trust them to handle it. Because if you think about it, Perrin's story is like a little, I love Perrin. You love Perrin, but we love Perrin for his personality. His plot kind of sucks. Like, it's not as fun as Matt. Like, Matt gets to like go romp around, be kind of a vagabond and like,
gamble and do all sorts of fun stuff.
Gamble, kind of like fight with lords, fight the, fight the caste system a little bit. But like Perrin is just like, well, Perrin's gonna go home, Perrin's gonna get married, and then Perrin's gonna meet his in-laws and he's gonna tell Rand no. But I think from Rand's perspective, he trusts Perrin more because Perrin understands duty like to the utmost.
And that may just be part of them like growing up with each other, that we've always kind of known that Perrin's a little more mature than Matt.
Right. And so I think Rand knows that. So he treats Perrin as a
Mhm.
peer where and like Matt only knows duty if he's like following through with a promise,
Sure.
and it's not going to be anything different than that. That's it. He can follow through on a promise.
Mhm.
But because of that, he's going to be treated differently in the novel. Also, they
Mhm.
just needed him to like end up with Egwene and Nynaeve and
Yeah.
Elaine and like follow them around. I do like that, like a huge part of Matt now is the Foxhead medallion where he's like, you can't channel
That's
against me.
cool.
Ha ha ha. And it's like, yeah, Matt, get it. Not enough people get to stand up to these people, the Aes Sedai. And so the fact that he does stand up to them a lot, like I feel like
Mhm.
he stands up to them better than most other men in this book.
I think it's interesting that you've taken this take now because I remember like back in the beginning of the series, we were both like, oh, it's so annoying how he does not trust the Aes Sedai and how he is so like against them.
Okay, so
But now we
here's the
kind of
thing.
enjoy it.
But if you think about it, at the beginning, they're like all stupid children who are like, I just don't trust you because they don't know Aes Sedai. Like, I don't want
It may
your
be just now that we as readers know more about the Aes Sedai that we're
right.
like, good for you that you don't trust them. But
Well, we found out like there's huge like factions that like some
Mhm.
are evil, some are not, which obviously we
Mhm.
knew in the beginning. But I think the beginning it felt like it was a bigoted take to not trust the Aes Sedai. Like
Mhm.
it's like I don't trust you because you have power, and
Mhm.
now it's like I don't trust you because you kind of are the man, and I need to fight the power.
Sure.
And so I think it's a different take where it's like they're disagreeing on the same level. They're not like
Mhm.
people who are walking around being like they're evil, put a mark on their door, like
Sure.
so I do think it's interesting to watch it progress because you're right, now we are much more distrustful of the Aes Sedai, but I think we're
Mhm.
distrustful of their choices, not of like they're evil people. Like,
Sure.
which is what their takes were at the beginning. Those are our main three in Mazrim Taim. Do you want to talk about, do you have any opinion on Bashir?
I don't accept. Okay, good for you that you like Perrin. Hot take. I'm like,
Hot take.
okay.
Does anyone dislike Parrot? Like not like 6 books
I
in,
don't.
because
I
I
don't
know in
think.
the future like some things happen, but like 6
I
books
have
in, does
heard that
anyone?
we get farther along and Perrin is not as likable, but
Yes.
so far I don't know that anyone does not like Perrin.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I mean, we don't like that spanking incident, but
And then they brought it up in this book, and I was like, don't brag about
yeah, like
that.
don't talk about that. That's disgusting.
Keep your head down. No, thank you.
But yeah,
Um,
Bashir, nothing really. He's key advisor now. Okay, cool. Good to know that Rand can just like randomly choose people to trust so much. I technically in my life do not do that, but good for Rand that you are able to just find randos to trust with very important things. Good for you, Rand. Okay.
okay, so I might do that as a person. I'm a very trusting.
Trust randos, just like, okay,
Like
hey
if I meet
you,
them,
would you like to help me with my bank account? Like, come on.
I don't ask you to help me with my bank account. I'm not asking anyone to help me with my bank
I'm talking
account,
like
but like
rando. Like, well, this is a very important thing that I'm just trying to I can't think of anything like super important, so that's why I said bank account.
I've
But
made like close friends in a month. Like they've known each other for like a month.
that you would trust to do extremely important things. Like,
I would trust them with secrets.
okay, well, he's getting a little more than secrets, but
You just sounded like they're having sex on the side. Like, well,
I
he's
guess we
getting a
don't
little
know.
more than secrets.
I guess we
Like,
don't know, but
innuendo. Sorry, now I'm gonna have a praise ex-girlfriend song stuck in my head.
yeah, I think the thing with Bashir is he's fine as a character. I just thought it was for plot purposes to bring Perrin back that he became the advisor, and that's all I can think of.
That's fair. And that is very fair.
Let's talk about someone that you love, Hannah. Gawyn.
Guys, the way I just rolled my eyes as Laura said that sentence.
Did it hurt?
A little.
Okay.
It's early in the morning. My eyes are tired. If toxic masculinity were a person.
Gawyn. Him and Egwene in the dreams and their love.
Okay. Gawyn was a victim in the dreams. He did not give permission. Bad people can be victims too, guys. But this man is the worst. I hate this man so much.
He will be my warder.
He's gonna be Green's warder and love interest for the rest of time. I'm sure. I'm sure their love will be mediocre at best, and we will have to read it.
Hate how it started off where it was like, I can't decide between Galad and Gawyn, and then suddenly it was like, I love Gawyn. Wait, what?
Well, we needed that because she was about to see Gawyn and make out with him. So
I just did not enjoy that. How it was so sudden. It was like, why even bring up Galad? I mean, come on.
Well, it is pretty much like I love Gawyn because I've been in his dreams. So I love Gawyn because I've seen a side.
I
of
like
him
him because I know that he likes me. That's kind of what it boils down to, Hannah.
Because that's exactly what it boils down to.
She didn't really seem too interested in him until Elaine said something like, "Oh, Gawyn likes you," and then she saw his dreams, and then she was like, "I love him."
I mean, you're not wrong.
What would happen if she would have seen some of Galad's dreams? We don't know.
Maybe she would have loved him instead. I don't know, Laura. It's the worst. It sucks. It sucks so much. It's terrible. And I love Egwene. Like, I think Egwene is a great character. Mm-hmm. This book did her dirty in so many different ways. Like,
so many rushed things happened. We're not talking about Egwene. Let's talk about Gawyn.
Thank you for keeping us on track.
This is the man episode.
He was a man. He had a beard. Our most used pair and gif. Yeah, I don't know. Gawyn just sucks. Like, he just sits there being like, I bet Rand killed my mom. I'm not going to do any investigation into it. I'm also definitely going to help the Aes Sedai, even and not question whether they're good or bad, just because duty. I also need to find Elaine, but not really, because I'm not looking that hard for her. I'm just kind of marching around everywhere doing nothing.
I think a lot of his character is just, I'm going to do what I think is right and not question anything. Yes. And it's just bad.
I would agree with that. As I would say, as I said last week, I will say again this week, fuck Gawyn so much. Just, I hate that guy. I hate that guy. Guys, I hate that guy.
Loves Gawyn.
Yeah, obviously. Someone tweeted at one point that they loved Gawyn, and I don't understand.
At what point did they love him?
Like, I guess I think 10 books in.
Book one?
No, no, it was like 10 books in. They were like, I love Gawyn. He's the only good character in this book series. I'm like, I've seen one of his perspectives, and I was like, no.
He's got to get a lot better in my opinion.
You know who I trust more than the random Twitter person I remember? Sarah from Fiction Fans. And her last entry from book 14 was fuck Gawyn. Or not the last one, but it was one of her notes. And I trust that a whole lot more than I trust anything else. So Sarah, good tip. I hate that guy. Have I said I hate him too many times? I feel like I have.
We could do a count.
I mean, let's not, guys. Do a shot for every time Hannah said, I hate that guy. You'll be drunk by the end of this episode.
I don't recommend that.
I don't recommend it either, guys. Drink responsibly, but still. I hate that guy.
Okay.
What are your thoughts? You didn't say anything about him.
I just don't think he's a good character. The only thing I had to comment was that, he is going around just only listening to himself, not doing any investigating of his beliefs and acting on them, and it's bad.
Again, these people need to ask questions more. Why does no one ask questions? Like, no, my mom's definitely dead because I said so. Like, people are like, hey, I
heard a rumor that she's dead, so it's true. Rand definitely killed her because that was part of the rumor. And
Rand doesn't give me my throne, even if he was just saying something like he wants to make sure I have the throne, and Green decided to warn it. Like, he's going to give you the throne. It's not his to give. Okay, ask a question. Did he actually use those words? Did you mean something else? Did he mean something else? Maybe we should have a conversation together because I love him so much. Sorry. Gawyn needs to ask more questions.
Gawyn is not great.
So, Tom.
Tom, I still like Tom.
I really like Tom. I think he's, besides his like, oh, no.
Now
Elaine is
I love Moraine, and and Elaine is my surrogate daughter. Like, or possibly real daughter.
It's not his real daughter, guys, but I love Laura's commitment to the bit.
I just think it's hilarious because we will never know.
No, we'll never know. You'll never know.
But Robert Jordan did like to drop that little Easter egg.
He was like, maybe, but not really.
I know.
Maybe.
Let's make them think that possibly that could have been a thing. And we'll give them a creepy father-daughter relationship. That's what we need in this book.
Well, now it's like they're just walking around playing father-daughter. And it's like, but last book, she was hitting on him.
Last book, she was like, I don't have anyone to flirt with, so I need to flirt with Tom. And now she's like, he's my dad. I've decided how I feel about him.
Dad. It's my dad.
And he fully embraces the role. He's being a good father figure. He's going after age-appropriate women. Dead ones.
They're not age-appropriate when there's like a 20-year age difference. It's not age-appropriate.
Old people. That's who Moraine has been defined as the old person. And he just realized when it was too late when she wrote him a letter that he actually did love her.
I need coffee if we're gonna have that conversation. Ugh, God,
I think the overall
age appropriate.
I think overall like the core points of Tom have not changed. You know, he's still there. He's still there. We have not like broke down his character to the point that we have other characters where like, okay, this character has become awful. We still get a lot of the, you know, he knows a lot about different things. He's got background in like different political things, and he's just a smart person. I think though Robert Jordan trying to like write in relationships for him and give him more fluff that way is not great. And that's what we hate. That's what we hate.
Yes, because like I love watching Tom interact with like Matt and Rand. I want Tom and Rand to be back together again. Get the band back. But
I want Tom and Matt to be back together because that's better.
I do enjoy them because they have more fun together.
Mm-hmm. But Tom I think he was just thrown in with the girls just to kind of give him more characters to play off of.
Right.
And that's where the whole Elaine thing comes in, because it's like, which characters would it make the most sense to put him with? I guess Elaine, because he slept with her mom.
I guess because he slept with her mom.
There's a connection there.
Also, not to side note, but I opened up our Twitter really quick, and there's a whole Twitter account called Bad Watt Takes, and they just make joking tweets, and there's like 8 different people on it. But it goes, "Hello, we are Fail and Barrelade, and we will be auditioning to The Boy Is Mine." Laura is shaking her head, guys.
Hannah, this is the man episode.
I know, but isn't that a great tweet?
This is the man episode.
I know, but I'm tired. You can cut
know what
that
else
out.
Is tired? I'm tired of hearing about how Tom and Moraine are going to end up together, and we haven't even heard it that many times. I knew it was going to happen.
That plot point so much.
It's only because he is old. And they're like, who's the next oldest person? Like, I guess this 30-year-old.
I will say the queen in this book does have a younger love interest, though. So young boys can marry older ladies too, I guess.
Okay, she just falls in love with everyone, though, is her thing. We'll get there.
Yeah, I know. Is there anyone else we need to discuss? We didn't really see Lan. We know he's sick. He's just Mr. Sicky over there. I'm not. He'll be fine.
I'm worried about him. He needs to get back to his Aes Sedai so then he can be healed and then something can happen to that one and he can be with Nynaeve.
Fair. Well, she can pass along the bond. Nothing needs to happen to her.
Oh, I thought they had to die to pass along the bond.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm misunderstanding then.
No, she doesn't have to die to pass on the bond.
Okay. Well, I totally
because that was whole Moraine thing. She said, I pass along your bond to her. She knows what to do with it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So don't wish murder upon a Aes Sedai, Laura.
I was not wishing murder. I just assumed that something would have to happen to her.
No, she doesn't need to die.
Okay.
So Alana, pass her along your bond to Rand so he doesn't have to like feel his abuser every single second of his life.
That won't happen.
I know it won't happen, but it should.
I just think that Robert Jordan wants to drag that out forever. And he will.
It's really rude of him to do. I don't like that.
I mean, I don't think that he did a lot of nice things in this book.
This book broke us, guys. It broke us.
What other men were in this? Why am I thinking like Niall was in this? Was he in this? Patron Niall?
Yes. You mean if drunk were a personality?
Yes.
Yes, he was definitely in it. And he's like plotting, but he's also drunk. So it's like, you're not doing a very good job, Niall.
Mm-hmm.
Just obsessing over Perrin and Rand. And that's like, White Cloaks are the worst.
Everyone is getting too much power and he doesn't like it because he should be in charge and he should be chasing down Perrin. Yeah. He's not.
Patron Niall sucks.
Oh, Podon Fane.
Oh yeah, Podon Fane is doing Podon Fane things.
He's really icky.
He hurt a woman, so that's different.
His mom, ew.
It wasn't his mom,
wasn't it? Who was?
It was the little boy's mom who he tortured, or the boy's mom who he. Did you think it was his mom?
Well, I thought he said it was his mom or something.
No, that's a much darker take. You must have been horrified.
I was. I thought, oh, that is really bad.
No, it was not his mom.
It was the little boy's mom. Okay.
It might have been a teenager, but he just tortured him. It's still gross because he just finished torturing the kid and he couldn't stop it. And then he abused a woman. So if anyone was questioning, Podon Fane is a villain.
Yeah. He can't separate himself now from Mordeth.
No, they are one and the same. I actually kind of have a theory. I don't know if this is true.
Okay.
But I wonder if he ends up being the actual big bad. Like, I know like the dark one you have to fight. I mean, I don't think it's true, but I would be very impressed if that's what Robert Jordan ended up doing. That would
be kind of cool.
I mean, it's a fake out where like Rand defeats the dark one, but then Podon Fane is even greater than the dark one.
Because right now we have all these different dark ones that
Forsakens.
are these different Forsaken that are appearing. And they're all kind of in a struggle to have the most power because it's one of those things where they're like, we're all working together for the dark one, but if I can get rid of you, that's fine.
Right. So I wonder if like Podon Fane will be the strongest alive because like that's the whole thing. Shadar Logoth is like this huge thing that kind of looms over them because even in this book, Rand was obsessed with Shadar Logoth.
Yeah.
And like we lose someone in it and like it's very interesting. So part of me was like, I wonder if like with Mordeth, like Podon Fane just has created like an even newer power or something. I don't know. It's probably a bad theory, but like
I think that's a good theory.
Laura screams dark friend at every person she meets in this book. So
not in every person. I only said it for one.
You said it for Mazrim Taim. You have said it for Varen. You have said that
was not in this book. That was a different book.
Well, fair, but you scream it a lot.
Okay, twice is not a lot.
Just for the record, other people.
Just for the record, twice is not a lot.
Twice is not a lot, but also I feel like you've said it about more than just two people. I just can't remember it off the top of my head.
It's possible, but
I'll re-listen to all 21 of our episodes and see.
Okay, you do that.
I'm not going to do that.
But I'm standing by the two that I have called Dark Friend. They are Dark Friends.
Okay, that's fair. At least you're specific. Okay, do we have anyone else we would like to discuss? Yeah, I can't think of anyone else. Okay, well.
That means they're not of note.
Well, that's the problem. Like, I feel like Robert Jordan has made 3 great characters who are all main characters for men.
Mhm.
And then no one else is of note. And then the women, he just keeps adding them on instead of fleshing out other people's personalities.
Mhm.
He's like, what if we add in a new person and her personality is also, I get mad at men
he
and
adds
yell
in
at
a
them.
lot of characters, not just women, but
He does add in a lot of characters, but like the more substantial characters where it's like, we're going to have to talk about next week, Alana, Varen, Elaine, Egwene, Nynaeve, not Bashir, what's the Fail, Barrelane. Like we already have like 7 women to talk about off the top of my head, and I usually miss one or two. So like we just men, like like that's
how
8.
could we forget that?
So it's just one of those things where it's like I feel like he just adds on and adds on and adds on with the women instead of just like doing what he did for Perrin, Matt, and Rand, which is like, I'm going to flesh out their characters. I'm going to make them 3-dimensional. I'm going to make them like a whole person.
But we've said this before. He doesn't know how to flesh out the women.
I know. It's just disappointing because like our women episodes are going to become like 3 hours long soon. Like we're going to have to be like, this is going to be a boys episode and men.
Yeah.
Because she wears pants sometimes.
All the people that wear pants in one episode.
And then she like wears a dress
and
for 2 seconds.
All the people that wear skirts in the other episode.
If she wears a dress for 2 seconds, we're like, we're gonna have to discuss that next week.
Oh my gosh, her hair has grown
below
her chin.
There is so much hair talk in these books. Like, why?
It is weird. I don't understand why everyone's obsessed with hair.
They have to be obsessed with something. It's hair and women and hair. And Rand. Everyone's obsessed with Rand.
What do you think of all like the Giotto talk?
I think it's interesting. I like it, but I knew it confused you a little bit because we talked about that in the first.
I think it was fine until it was just like everyone all of a sudden had it, and it was like it was being brought up constantly. It seemed like if it was not as like mentioned as much, where it was like, okay, we jump over to Matt, and now he's like, Blood and Ashes, Giotto. Like, like, come on. Even Matt is talking about this. Come on.
Okay, I do agree with that.
Like, it was too much.
I don't like the cultural appropriation of Giotto, but like it's so the problem is with fantasy novels, a lot of times you have world building. Like you need world building. So Giotto is like something that is in the world, but the problem is Robert Jordan's just like, hey, people didn't really understand.
Everyone just drill it into our brains,
right? And
because we couldn't understand it after 4 interactions.
I mean, fair. That is a very, very fair take.
That was my only problem with it, was that it was just like, come on, do we have to hear about this again?
I'm sorry you had to hear so much about Giotto. That stinks for you. I didn't mind it. I think you were right. He used it far too much, but I like it as the world building system and like trying to explain it and teaching us more about it.
Fine if he would have just mentioned it and been like, okay, we're good on that, right? All right.
Well, I also hate that he's willy-nilly with the rules for it, because on one hand you have
he's willy-nilly with the rules for a lot of things.
I know, but like that's the annoying part, where it's like on one hand you'll be like, hey, you can't tell someone that they don't have toe against you. That's their decision. And it's like, cool. Okay. I know the rule now. It's their decision. And then in the next sentence, it's like, don't tell me, like, Rand, you have toe towards me. And it's like, but you're not allowed to tell him he has toe towards you. Like, that's not the rules you told me. Like, I don't love that. That is annoying to me. Agreed. So Robert Jordan, write down your rules, come back from the dead, write down your rules and stick to them. And don't publish a book that you decided not to put out 40 years ago. That seems like a bad idea. Just saying.
Harriet.
Listen to me now. This book was hard for us. Some
like
people love this book. Lots of people love this book.
What?
Yeah, lots of people love it. Because like it, they like, here's the thing.
Did they read the other ones?
Yes, they read the other ones. Oh. This is one of like the favored ones, I think.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, it has like over 4 stars on Goodreads. I almost said Rotten Tomatoes.
You can't trust
that. But like we have people who loved it, and they think that like this is one of our listeners' favorite books because like it's moving the plot along. There's politics in it, and this is like one that's branching out and like having different storylines, you know? So
I can see that take. However, and I agree with that it moves things forward and there's a lot of different political things that happen. However, I still did not like it
also,
for a lot of
guys,
reasons.
just so you know, like we're complaining about how much we both dislike this book. Laura and I both rated it a 3 on Goodreads, which means like it was enjoyable. We liked it, but for a Wheel of Time book so far, it's like our second or first least favorite. You know, like
it's my second least favorite. My least favorite is The Great Hunt.
Yeah, I feel like The Great Hunt still wins.
And that's
like
just because it's not very memorable. The only memorable thing that happens is that Matt gets the horn. Okay.
And the portal stones that are never used again.
Oh yeah, we meet Lanfear. How could I forget?
I don't know how
the most beautiful woman in the world.
But no, I think lots of people love this book, and I think it's true. I think if you love like the plot or the world building aspects of Wheel of Time, this is a great book for those. And it's a good book for Nynaeve, you know, like, so if you love Nynaeve, I could see where like this is a good book for her. If you love Egwene, you were short shifted her entire plot line of becoming the Emerald Sea.
We'll get
but
there.
Like, I know, but in defense of this book, lots of people do love it because it is like good on the world building and good on the plot. And if you love those aspects of these novels, you will definitely enjoy this book. Obviously, you've already either read it or agreed to not read this book listening to episode 3 on The Lord of Chaos. But what we're saying is we understand if you like this book. Everyone has the right take for what they have. It's just, I think you and I enjoy the character building in these books a lot more.
Yeah.
So if it's just the characters already at point blank and they're not really pushing forward with anything other than the plot, we're like, what's going on? You know?
Yeah.
And we don't like seeing men be assaulted.
Or anyone.
Yeah, anyone be assaulted. But like mostly the men got assaulted in this book. That's why I said the men. But yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that is The Boys and One Man. Well, I guess Pada and Fane is technically a man, but he should be nothing.
I'm gonna say Tom's the only man.
Tom's the only man in this book. So we talked about the boys and the man of the Lord of Chaos. If you guys would like to give us your take on the Lord of Chaos, if you enjoyed it or any of the characters more than we did, please reach out to us at owwrpod@gmail.com or at owwrpod on Instagram or Twitter. We also have a new website at owwrpod.com where we put up our reading schedule so you guys can stay involved. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Rating, reviewing, and subscribing helps us reach other people who can join in on the conversation. We will see you next week to discuss the ladies of the Lord of Chaos. Bye.
Bye.